everybody to the Single and Stiletto Show. I'm Suzanne Oshima, and I'm a dating and relationship coach and founder of Dream Bachelor and Bachelorette and Single on Stilettos. Today we have on our show Iris Ben-Ruby, and she's a relationship coach. And today we're talking about dating after heartbreak. And I know, ladies, sometimes it can be so hard to get back out there, but Iris is going to give us some great tips on that today. So before we jump into it, Iris, I would love for you to tell our audience a little bit about you and how you became a relationship coach.
Hi, so first of all, thank you for having me on your show. I love talking to you and interviewing you when I get a chance on my show. So I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I got divorced about 16 years ago, and that was really hard. And for women that have been through a divorce or have been in a long-term relationship and it ended, it's really hard, and it has us go to a place of protection. You know, I don't want to put myself out there again, which we're going to talk about a little bit more today. And I really had to learn for myself what it takes to be a better version of me, to really love who I am, and to be willing to risk my heart in a safe way. Right? And so I decided that once I learned those skills, it's like, oh, this is what I want to do for other women as well. I want to help them get past that hurdle of fear of, oh my God, I got to keep my heart safe, to, okay, how do I do this differently and smarter the next time?
That is so awesome that you do that, because it's so true. When someone goes through a divorce or heartbreak, they can immediately like put up walls and just to protect themselves, and then they don't want to get hurt again and get back out there. So great. So can you tell us your first tip on what women should do to get back out there after heartbreak?
Yeah, so first let me say that actually putting a wall up is a good thing. It's actually a coping strategy because you've just been hurt. And sometimes when you've been hurt, you need to go back into your shell. You need to do your grieving. You need to take care of yourself. And so it's not a bad thing. It only becomes ineffective or inefficient when you stay there. So after you've done your work to actually grieve the ending of a relationship or a marriage, because none of us go into a relationship hoping it's going to end. So dealing with that pain, coming out of it, the first thing you need to know is that everyone's anxious. Whether it's men or women that have been in short-term relationships, long-term relationships, young, older, skinny, heavier, tall, it doesn't matter. We're all anxious. And so one, just know that it's normal. Being anxious is a way of taking care of yourself. So I want to normalize it so that you don't think like, what's wrong with me? But you just want to see, how does that anxiety show up in relationships? Does it keep you shut down? Does it have you go out there and date and ask all these questions like it's an interview? You know, what do you do to keep yourself safe, and is it working? So you want to see how that anxiety is either moving you towards a relationship or it's moving you away. And when I say moving you towards, what I mean is really learning to manage those emotions. So you can breathe, you can do some yoga, you can do some self-care to let yourself know that it's okay. I'm out there again, this is normal. I need to know how to deal with my emotions, and I'm ready to risk my heart in a way that's going to keep me safe. So that's tip number one.
That's awesome, because it's true. You really need to do that self-care and take care of yourself and be gentle on yourself, because you've just gone through a trauma. And would you say, Iris, that it's not a good idea to just jump back out there and date?
Absolutely not, because, you know, I think much more often men do that. They'll jump into another relationship. As women, we tend to wait a little longer, and sometimes we tend to wait too long. You know, it starts to become a comfort zone. So you want to, you know, give yourself 12 months, 24 months tops. And then if you're still wanting to stay there, then you need to talk to someone, you know, to figure out what is it that's keeping you there and what it is a safety. And how do you move from that safe zone to actually having a relationship? Because we're all hardwired to be in relationship. So, we're all brought up with the I shouldn't need a man. I'm enough on my own. I can do it all on my own. But we really need to get that biologically we're hardwired to be in a relationship. After food, shelter, and clothing, the number one thing we need on Maslow's hierarchy of needs is connection, belonging, and community. And that includes a romantic relationship.
I love that you gave that a general sense of a time frame of if you're still feeling like you don't want to get out there and date, that's about the time you need to get help, because it's people just can sit there for years and years. I mean, I just talked to someone yesterday and they haven't dated in over 20 years, and it just gets harder and harder the longer you wait. So Iris, what's your second tip?
So the second tip that I want you to look at is, what did I learn from my last relationship? Not as a place to blame the other person or to blame yourself, but you want to start to look at, what was I responsible for? Did I speak up and say what I needed? Was I too harsh in how I spoke up? Did I turn myself into a pretzel? How can I do that differently in the next relationship? Because really, our lives are about maturing and growing and evolving. And as unfortunate as a breakup is, it's actually an opportunity to become a better version of yourself. So really, what did I learn in that last relationship? And how do I become a better version of me, which is very future focused. It's positive focused rather than focusing on what was just back there and I don't want to recreate it. So we don't want to focus on the negative stuff. We want to look at, how can I grow and move forward from this? And if you look at, if you have children, or if you look at young children, they're always growing and evolving from their mistakes, and it doesn't change for us.
That is so true. And I love that you said that, because I say that all the time to my clients too, is to always become the best version of yourself. And it doesn't matter how old you are, you can always keep evolving and growing and becoming self-aware, and just realizing that, you don't want to make the same mistakes and you want to be a better person in the next relationship, right?
Totally.
Okay, so what's your third tip?
So my third tip is, really be clear on what it is that you're looking for. Often women, depending on their background, have been taught to suppress their needs, to turn themselves into a pretzel to what a man wants, to have to earn a man's love. And so it comes from a place of, I am less than him. And so it's really getting clear of, I am looking for a professional. I am looking for someone who has children or someone who doesn't have children. And I do the 10 must-haves, so those are non-negotiable. And then we have wants and likes that are kind of like the icing on the cake. But we want a really solid foundation of, what is it that I'm looking for, and to memorize all of those so that when you're out there dating, you have a clear picture. Does this guy fit into the future I want to create? Or am I just trying to kind of like, well, this one's not so important. He doesn't want kids. I think I can live with it. Just be honest with yourself and own it. The clearer you are about what you want in your life and go out dating with that clarity, with that picture, the less likely you are going to get into another relationship that doesn't meet your needs.
Well, and also, I love that you said in getting clear, because then you don't waste time dating someone just because you're physically attracted to them or you have amazing chemistry. If they don't have those core things that you talk about that you should be really clear on, then you won't waste, a year and go, oh, yeah, he doesn't really want this. And then it's like, okay, now I'm back at square one yet again, right?
Yeah, and then you make yourself wrong there. I did it again, and I don't know how to be in a relationship, and what's wrong with me, and why can't I do it? And then when we go to that place, we shut down, we go into our clamshell, and we become even more anxious, and it takes us even longer to get out the next time. So the clearer you get about your picture, the easier it'll be for you to sift through the men that are out there. And there are lots of men. So you just need to be clear on what it is that you want and really stand for it.
Awesome. Well, these have been some great tips. So Iris, can you tell the ladies you have a free gift for them?
Yeah, so my free gift is How to Spark Desire in Your Man Without Chasing Him. And it's an ebook. And Suzanne, you're going to have the link right below this podcast. And what it'll do is it'll teach you how to create that attraction without chasing. Because if you want a man that's going to take care of you, that's going to make plans, you need to make sure you don't chase. And chasing is the number one mistake most women make in relationships, which has them not work out the way they want. So I'm going to give you the guidelines.
That's awesome. So ladies, if you're watching the video, just click on the link below, or if you're listening to the podcast, go to singleandstilettos.com and you can find Iris's interview and you can click on the link there. So thanks everybody for joining us on the Single on Stilettos show. Our show is available both in video format and podcast format. If you would like to view the videos, you can go to singleandstilettos.com. And if you'd like to get the podcast, you can download it from iTunes. And if you would like to get our free ebook on why men disappear without a trace, you can click right here on the video, or you can go to singleandstilettos.com.